go now?
Some for the side of the
Yo,
sheet.
Jason, you're gonna choose not to do this. Can I see the calendar paper?
He's not gonna choose not to do this, he's gonna do it fine. He's gonna be mad at me for 5 minutes and it's gonna be okay.
Girl ain't no
We have enough love between us that you can be mad at me for 5 minutes and keep it moving, it's fine. I love you, I trust you, I know it's all gonna be good. All right, good morning, welcome, happy Monday. I'm glad you all are here. Can I ask you, Rodrigo, would you please, pretty please, sugar on top, put your backpack down, either on another chair or on the floor, but so it's not right there, great big huge. And while I put attendance in, I've got a couple of connector questions for you here on the board. I'm gonna need you all to be putting your phones away while you're talking about answering this, okay? And your, Chromebook too, can you put that down past 15 degrees there? Here are your connector questions, and these are silly. Ready?
Anything look?
Do your ears hang low?
Do they wobble? No.
Do they wobble to and fro?
No.
Do you know the song
Yeah.
from when you were little?
Let's not.
I know two songs at a time.
I knew somebody was gonna say something. This one is the one I'm talking about. Do your ears hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Why am I asking you this?
I don't know.
Because our ears are important.
They don't sound right.
It doesn't sound right?
It does
It's kind
sound
of
right.
weird than I know.
You know a different
That's
version.
just kidding.
I'm talking about the preschool version.
Yeah, we don't know that thing.
I got
All right.
big ears.
Look at my
I
earlobes.
can hear tomorrow.
Some hang low and some don't.
Right. Do yours hang low? Are yours
Yeah.
free or are they connected?
Mine hang low.
Is there anybody in here who has earlobes that are connected right to your
Like,
face?
it's right here.
Are yours connected? Yours are free, aren't they? Are yours connected or free, Jason? Okay, so here, look at my ear. Look at my old lady earlobe. Ready? Here you go. See how it's like not attached? Yours is not attached.
Is mine?
Let's see. Yours is not attached. How about yours? Not attached. Let's see yours.
Some kids in school have health ears.
That's weird. Wait, so attached mean like right here? Like it's...
Right, it just kind of goes, like Mrs. Elliott has attached earlobes, but she's not here today.
Jason, what
Do you have attached earlobes?
No, no.
Are yours attached? No.
The alien?
Are yours attached? No. Are yours? No. Brendan, let's see your
One
earlobes.
more time. Who is that? Memphis, I think.
Okay, Brendan
There they are.
has attached earlobes.
Let me
Let's
see, Brandon. I don't
Wait,
see
stop
it.
touching it so that they can see it. Like, take your hand off.
Oh.
See, it's like, it's not, it doesn't have the lobe that's hanging. It's like connected to,
Oh, mine's not the lobe. It's a little flat.
let me see who is at this door. Why do you think I'm asking you all that?
Jeez.
All because we were learning about anatomy.
Mine is somebody
I don't know.
That's
You're
what's
silly,
good,
not a
Shara. What?
All right, you all kick that around for a second while I put attendance in. I have to do that.
You're so.
I hope you all had a good weekend. It was so pretty
You're
out.
just holding it like laughing.
I got water. Water was so nice. Water around that.
It was so nice out that I hope you were all outside the whole time.
When?
All weekend,
This
wasn't it
weekend,
gorgeous?
I was inside the mud.
I was outside all day.
I bet you were.
I saw 3 homeless men giving each other flu shots under a bridge. It's a beautiful community.
Oh my goodness. What did you do, Brendan? You went fishing?
Yeah, Short River.
Did you? How'd you get up there?
You go
Oh my gosh, Robert.
up. I got wherever there is.
Uh-huh.
It's far up, through Stratton, through Culture and all that.
Somebody drove you up there?
Yeah, Bishop Park.
You like Hawaii, right?
Huh?
I've never been there. I've heard about it.
I like art.
That's
I
you.
love
I
art.
did your business.
Never mind. It was so pretty. I don't feel like talking right now.
Oh.
All right, we've got
All
Jason,
right,
we've got
take it.
Shy, no Kiara
Wait,
today, we've got Trinity.
Kim will be back tomorrow.
No, Robert today, okay.
She has a dog today. She left me.
All alone.
Yes,
To
I'm
get
gonna
picked
call
on
you.
by Mrs. Vincent.
No, for Mrs.
I said
Needs
no.
and almost get trusted.
Oh, honey.
But no, she left me alone. And I literally begged her to come to
I
school.
like dragons.
Well, you're never alone.
That's the
honey.
one reason I have almost every
I
class.
forgot, but that one was
today.
like
I
dragon.
love
So cool.
You can make it. We love you. We'll support
I,
you.
I'm about to go home
But
actually.
you know that
No, honey,
you
don't
can
do
have
that.
like food there.
Stay here. You can do difficult things, that's what I mean. Even if your bestie isn't here. You know who you
Hot
can
tub,
bond
what is
with?
it, a hot tub, oh my nigga.
You know who's in the same boat as you? Sydney. Like you
Sydney,
and
I
Sydney
think
need to
We was in a hot tub
commiserate.
the other day.
Me and Sydney are friends. We have been that way.
Yeah, so like,
Next week,
you
bro.
can hold each other up so that you don't crash out together.
Before,
Or
it was
you
like
never get to
months
go
ago,
home.
I was like,
Or-
should I do roller coaster?
Another idea, you could stay and have fun and be with your friends and make new friends too.
Like me.
Like Rodrigo, who doesn't want to be friends with Rodrigo?
Straight up,
He's
bro.
so sweet.
He is very sweet and sometimes annoying.
All right, anybody have an idea? Why am I asking you about your earlobes today? Invading your earlobe privacy.
But very sweet.
What do you think, Deshira?
But
Why am I asking about earlobes today?
today's National Earlobe Day.
Well, that would actually be a pretty good guess. Because you know we get those like, those little hints on those KU slideshows, like today's National Pancake Day or whatever.
Yeah.
It is not actually National Earlobe Day.
Oh,
Here's why I'm asking. Because whether or not your earlobes dangle low or whether they are attached to your head has to do with the information you got from your parents. The DNA that you inherited from your parents are what determine whether or not your earlobes are free or whether they're attached.
so are we talking about genetics today?
We are. Thank you for asking. You know what? I'm going to give you extra credit for leading me through it like it was scripted. All right, here's what's going on today. So we did our connector questions, and then we're going to address a different kind of standard today. We're going to talk about using a model that will help us to understand and demonstrate the way cells reproduce. Here's why we're talking about it. I want to give you the rationale for us doing this at all today. I've been speaking with Mrs. Elliott.
Oh
You
no.
know, she's the one who teaches the biology class and the physics class and the chemistry class, those ones that are just plain all by themselves. Hey, Memphis. Good to see you, sweetie. So she was telling me,
Not another chair over here.
you need another chair, here's a chair.
What is that?
I thought that would be one of the animals.
That's a
I know there usually is.
Amy from Bar 6.
Here you go, you can leave it
Okay, I
in
see
for
the
you,
face,
I'll
but
bring you
what
the
is
thing
that?
you can
Fire.
Bar 6 on everything. So they're like, oh my god, bitch, shut the fuck up.
say. Hey, language.
Hey.
Watch the profanities.
Oh.
All right, can I try this again? Now that Memphis is here and our family is complete today.
No.
When did you start recording our conversation?
Delete
So-
that and record.
I told you all last week and the week before that part of my teaching certification means that I have to be observed. I'm the only one in this, like, I'm the only one who can be seen, so you don't need to worry about
hear
that.
us, and that's our problem.
If you're behaving in a way that you don't want people to overhear
Can you cut it
you,
out?
that's a conversation you need to have with yourself.
We don't want you to get in trouble with me.
I will certainly not get in trouble for it.
Okay.
Don't feel bad about that.
Okay.
But if your conscience is telling you that you're doing something wrong, then you probably are, right? Like, think about that for your own self, in your own heart, in your own head.
Why is it so
Memphis, you probably are on camera sitting right there, but if you mind that,
I don't really care.
okay, all right, I'm
You
happy
want
to
to be
have you
on
right
camera,
wherever
you
you
want
want
to
to be
see.
seated.
I'm gonna leave you alone.
Shut up. Shut up.
Are you ready to listen?
Yeah.
I was rushing
Check
you, I'm
his
sorry.
files.
Pardon me?
Nothing going.
All right, so here's why we're talking about
Shirt
this.
stretched out.
I told you that I was speaking with Mrs. Elliott, and she's the one who teaches the 3 classes that might lead a student to need this class, this credit recovery class. And so I was asking her, like, you know, I'm working on these lessons to fill in the holes where students didn't understand things in the regular class. What are some things I can really focus on? What problems did you see when you were doing instruction the first time around in the regular class? And so she talked about some things that we've already talked about, and then she reminded me that some students were having a hard time with mitosis. And I remember that you and I, Deshira, worked on one of those lessons some weeks back, right? And that it was difficult, that reading that you had so much to read and so many diagrams to look at, and all this vocab and stuff. And so I thought, well, since kids had trouble with it in that class, let's focus on it here and make sure everybody gets a real good understanding of it, because it's really important to understand these things, because it's part of what keeps you healthy and strong for your whole life. So I wanna make sure that everybody has the big, long, healthy, happy life that you deserve, full of joy and love and fun and all the opportunities and adventures that you'll have in your life. And I want you to feel healthy and well while you're doing it. So I want you to understand these things so you can help keep yourself healthy. So we're gonna be talking about the way cells reproduce. And before we do that, I thought it would be worth kind of going over the cell cycle. Do you remember that term from biology class, the cell cycle?
Yes.
Mitosis.
You remember some key terms from it. Good job.
Oh,
And you said yes, you remember it. What can you tell us about it? Oh wait, while you're gathering your thoughts, let me grab a little marker here, and I'm gonna get ready to put some things on the board while you're talking, okay?
Okay.
So the cell cycle,
Yeah, and then mitosis.
maybe you know what we should do for students who didn't understand it as well as you did, because you might have been one of those star students in that class that got it, while some other students didn't. Like, even if you feel a little wobbly with your confidence, that's okay. Like, I know you remember a lot of the big pieces. So let's start with, what is the cell cycle?
The cell cycle is how, like, it's like the cycle and the steps of basically creating a living thing.
Good job. So when you say a living thing, you're talking about like a larger organism, right? Like you're a
Yes.
living thing and I'm a living thing.
Yeah.
And that plant that Lexi gave me is a living thing.
Mostly like humans, animals, plants, anything with life.
Complex organisms, right? Like we're not talking about one-celled bacteria.
No.
We're talking about complex organisms. So let's talk about just a quick review of how things are organized. So we know that everything in the whole world is made of stardust, right? The atoms that compose us.
Yes.
So we've got atoms that combine into what?
molecules.
Molecules, there we go. Molecules. And the molecules combine into
Molecular
cells.
structure.
Well, molecular structures, right?
Cells.
Maybe we'll skip a couple of the little steps here in the middle.
I was gonna say cells.
Cells, good. And then cells combine to form,
Me.
say it again?
You said him.
Us.
Some
Right.
steps in the middle.
Oh, DNA.
DNA is part of cells, and that's definitely what we need to be able to make more cells, right?
Yes.
But cells combine to form tissues,
Yeah, tissue.
and then the tissues combine to form,
What?
can I give you a different word? Organs.
Organ. Duh.
And then the organs combine to form organs
Cells.
Cells?
systems,
Or system.
Organ system.
right? When we think about like cardiovascular system,
Yeah.
or your skeletal system,
And nervous
or
system.
exactly. Good job. Thank you. Organ system. And then the organ systems combine to form,
A body?
right, a body. And so we call that an organism.
Organism.
There we go. So that's a lot of levels of organization, right? That's pretty complicated.
It don't seem like all that much though, but like now that we broke it down, it seems like a lot.
Right. So there's another word other than complicated that we use. We can say it's a complex organism. Where's another place you use the word complex or complex?
Apartments?
Here we go. I was hoping somebody would say exactly that. When you're trying to find your way to your friend's house for the first time, how hard is it to find that building?
Pretty hard.
Like, it'd be a lot, especially
Right.
if it's multiple together.
And they all look the same, right? Except for whatever number or letter is on the side of the building. So you're driving all around trying to find it. So that's kind of like how your body is. You've got all these organ systems, all these organs put together, and all together, it's one complex organism or one apartment complex if you're using that analogy. All right, so the end goal is to have a healthy organism. And cells are here in the organization. So the cell cycle is awfully important, right?
Yeah.
Because it happens here, early in the organization.
Mhm.
And so now let's talk about the cell cycle. What is the cell cycle? It's okay if you have a perfect, lean into the fridge, it's okay.
Me too, Miss Venus.
Right?
Anyways,
You didn't hear that, did you?
the
I
cell
didn't hear it.
cycle.
You guys are leaving the Shire hanging,
No, literally,
doing all
like,
this all
I'm
by
gonna
yourselves.
think.
Straight
Say
up.
some words.
Say
Wait.
some words.
I did say some
Are we
words
saying what
already.
goes after organism?
No,
No, we're
the
saying,
cell
what is
cycle.
the cell cycle? That's where we are.
Oh,
Atoms.
Okay, atoms, that's something important to know. What else?
atoms.
What's that?
Molecules.
Molecules, that's important to this process. What else?
Cells.
Yep, definitely cells, because we're talking about the cell cycle, right?
Tissue.
Yep, so this is the organization that we follow here, right?
Right.
If we're concentrating just on the cells, and we're talking about a cycle, what does cycle mean?
Like a repeating process.
Here we go, a repeating
Yeah.
process. Ding, 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 ding. Repeating process, so important. Why is that important?
Because it repeats itself.
Right.
And it needs to repeat itself.
There we go.
And it's copying everything. DNA, other cells, reproductive cells, cells.
Right, so it copies itself in order to do what?
Wait.
Live.
Yeah, to live, to make more cells, right? Because what happens is we have a cell, and then the cell needs to reproduce,
Mhm.
right?
Which is basically copying.
Which is copy, good. So I have that word reproduce here on my important vocab list. It needs to make, they need to make more, need to make more cells. So we've got a cell, the cell reproduces, and then what happens to the cell after it reproduces?
It keeps going,
Mm-hmm.
but.
Just like Jason said, it's a repeating process, and so that
it
happens
keeps
again.
going, then it goes again.
It's just the end of the cycle.
End of the cycle, what's the end of the cycle?
That's the endless cycle.
Yeah, X is over your eyes, dead, the cell dies,
Well,
right?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, death. Just say death.
Okay, we can say done. Should I draw a little face with little X's over the eyeballs there?
Yeah.
So we know that that cell is dead. So this is a natural cycle, right? So we've got
But
a
then
cell,
Well, no, it doesn't.
it reproduces,
It reproduces while it's still alive.
reproduces while it's still alive. And it reproduces based on what? Like, where are the instructions for how it's supposed to reproduce?
It just, it's basically like a human printer.
Mm-hmm.
It just knows how, like it's nature, it's in its nature
Yeah,
to
it's
reproduce.
just nature.
And where is the instruction manual?
There isn't.
There is one.
There is?
You do know what it is.
No, what is it?
You might have heard it referred to as the blueprint of the cell. That's always, you know how the mitochondria is known as the
Oh, the
powerhouse of the
powerhouse
cell?
of the cell.
So what is the blueprint of the cell? There we go, say it louder.
DNA.
There we go. All right, you are a rock star. Like, if there's a science award at the end of the year, Deshire should
You
get it.
will
You
lose.
have been working,
Yeah.
working.
That's me.
So
I'm getting a science award.
reproduces based on,
Which
Right.
is when one mommy cell and one daddy cell.
Hey, bro, I don't work like that.
Combine together.
Mitosis.
you're proud of that word, yes, that word is important to our
Well,
process.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
I'm listening.
I was gonna say develop another cell within one of the cells. Yeah.
It is a complicated thing, isn't it? Yeah, there's a lot going on. So I thought of, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I thought of it like a party. Like you plan the party, and then you go to the party, and then everybody talks about the party the next day.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Is that how your parties work?
No.
How do your parties work?
I don't know the parties. I'm not a party.
Okay. But have you heard of parties?
Parties keep going until you can't go no more.
All right, and then what happens when you can't go no more?
You're fucked up.
No. You know what happens to you? You can't go no more.
What?
Motherfuckers start fighting and shit.
Okay, so there could be problems at a party, right? This is what I'm after.
Okay.
If you can't go anymore and you die, or if you get in a fight at the party, things can go wrong at the party, right?
Yeah.
Anything can go wrong at a party.
Anything could go wrong in the cell cycle too.
Mhm. There are some predictable things that happen at a party though, right?
Which is sad because if you think about it,
Yeah. A lot
some
of
people
drugs,
can't.
drinking.
Sometimes that stuff happens.
Hell yeah.
Maybe you guys need to go to some parties that are in the church basement
Crazy.
instead of wherever these other parties are.
Got jump scared.
Let's not go to those parties.
Nah, I say thanks, bro, but I'm good on the fence.
Yes, I'm glad that you have a line ready to say no, to just say no.
He be bapping.
So silly.
I'm
I got the
Like
dare
they're
cornmeal.
taking no substance that
He
you have
shocked
to-
me.
That it's powder. I'm not. No.
Yeah, just say no, just all that stuff. No, that's good for you.
It don't
So
look normal.
part of what you're gonna learn today or be reminded of today is gonna help you understand why all that stuff is, what you should stay away from. It
I
is
get up,
bad
all
for
three
your
of them sit
body.
down.
Not only is it bad for your
Hell
future,
yes, man.
because you don't wanna get in trouble and you don't wanna surround yourself with people who don't care about
Everything
you.
bad for you though.
Oh.
Not everything,
Start kicking.
not everything, but some things are worse than
Mostly
others,
everything.
right?
Mostly everything.
Everything you eat, bad for you, shit. What can you do?
You can eat well, you can avoid putting things
Like,
into you that are bad for you.
She's saying organic.
But everybody that everybody eat hamburgers. Come on, bro.
Can't water,
I get what he's
If you
saying.
drink
Most
nothing,
of the
it could
stuff
hurt you.
is
Oh my
like
God.
Yeah,
chemicals
everybody,
and
come
bad
on.
for us. But what she's saying is like it's stuff that we can eat
You
that
accidentally
don't
drink
have
too
to be
much,
processed.
they can give you water
Exactly.
constipation.
All right,
But
so we're
could
gonna
still
get into
be
that.
Over time.
Let me give you a
Like
couple
Chemicals
of
shit
rules.
in there.
Fruit.
Yeah, it can still be bugs in there though. They just nasty shit in there. You never know.
I gotta take a nap.
So it is time for me to get out your word now, Rodrigo.
Huh?
Ready? It's time for me to get out your word now.
Like Walmart. all the-
So if we think of the cell cycle as a party, if we think of the cell cycle as a party, there's kind of two phases, right? There's the planning phase and then there's the partying phase. So the planning phase is here. Here we go.
Nah.
If you can hear my voice, do this. If you can hear my voice, do this. If you can hear my voice, do this.
Ouch.
If you can hear my voice, take a peekaboo right here.
Interface.
Interface.
Prophase.
So this is where the planning happens. This is where you're calling your friend, hey, are you gonna be able to come over? This is where you're calling your other friend, hey, can you bring your speaker? This is where you're calling your other friend, don't bring that guy that was at the last party because he was making trouble and we don't need him here, or his bad energy. This is where you're planning things, right?
I'm about to be at
Like you're trying to
every party.
decide whose house are you gonna be at? Which parent is going to supervise, because I know that you only go to parent supervised parties, right? So this is where all the planning is happening. And then, Rodrigo's favorite word, say it again.
Mitosis.
There we go. And then mitosis happens, and mitosis is when the cell actually reproduces.
Yep.
So this is a complicated process, just like the party is complicated. No matter what you planned, something different might happen. The same is true of the cell cycle. No matter what the cell plans, something different could happen. There are a lot of places where a party can go wrong, like maybe your friend brought a friend that you didn't want there. Maybe your friend brought a friend who has beef with another
Your
friend.
got pregnant.
Maybe the parent who was supposed to supervise is no longer available, and now we've got all these unsupervised teenagers together. That can't be good.
What parent is
Or-
supervising a party first of all?
What I'm saying is that I know you only go to parent supervised parties.
No, for real though, it can't be something like that though.
Yeah.
Cause I went to some like their parents was like they was there, but shit, they was drinking with us.
So there's drinking with her.
Or
Until
maybe
the cops
somebody
came,
shows up,
start
they've been to a
blitzing
party
shit.
before they came to your party, and they've got some substances on board. And maybe they're feeling a little combative, and maybe they start something, and maybe they won't be talked down from it, and maybe their friends can't keep them out of getting into a back and forth with somebody, and then that leads to a fight, and then you're calling the police on your own party.
Calling the police is crazy.
Whoa.
No,
I
that
guess
happened
you
too
killed them out.
before. Hey, you saying everything true? Like, man, people did that before too. Call the police because shit happened, stolen cars, all that.
It happens,
Shit
right?
like
Things
that.
can go wrong at a party. Things can go wrong in the cell
Miss
site.
V knows she got experience.
Let's take a look at this. I've got this cool little. What'd you say?
I said, you know, you got experience.
No, for real.
What about me and my professional demeanor allows you to think that about
In
me?
fact, you just said all that knowing damn well it's true.
Hey now.
Can I smack him?
Well,
No,
you're
we
not
know
gonna
you
before email.
used to be a little slick one.
Straight up.
All right, I'm handing you a little packet, but we're not gonna do the whole packet. This is another of Pam's packets. Mostly because there's an illustration I want you to see.
What was this for?
I'm a
Good question. I was gonna have you write down some vocab, but
Right.
keep that paper. Ah, good for you. I'm proud of you. So will you all please get your colorful marker that I handed you? Remember I handed everybody a colorful marker? So I need you one.
Because no one else does. So I gotta super my.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest.
Will you
Was you about to
please,
give it one of them Indian?
will you please, pretty please, sugar on top, open up your packet to this page?
Okay, like.
Second or third?
It's the second page. Just flip that first page over. Yep, so this is the picture
No,
I
I was
want you to
talking
see.
about the hours.
Oh, sorry.
You never know, do you?
Jasmine, can you hear
I
me
know.
on this page?
Yeah.
I know what's going on right here.
Shy. Can you be on this page, anyone?
My shirt.
All right, I've got a little helpful demo to show you here. A little visual aid to aid your visuals.
No. Oh my god, that nigga said. Emily. We was in the snow season, so I'm having slow motion. Like this color.
Okay. With your colorful marker, whichever color I gave you, will you please enhance that diagram in your packet, adding some color so that your colorful chromosomes
Oh, add some color.
match
okay.
that? Add some color to your little diagram. Jasmine, you know what you're supposed to be doing, babe? Okay. Are you okay? Are you struggling with an eyelash? Oh, sorry.
So what?
Color.
Yeah.
You want to switch?
All right, I spy with my little eye. Memphis, Brendan, David, Amir, Shy. This whole side of the room is doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I'm doing it too.
And I know you got stuff going on.
Okay.
You're
I
doing
just
it,
do
you're
all my
doing it, you're doing it, you're
Oh
doing
my
it. You
God.
guys are rock stars, thank you.
Okay, are we coloring that?
Yep, just add color with that marker that I gave you to make your diagram look like this one.
I didn't get a marker.
I gave you a little skinny marker. Here, I'll give you another one. I'm sorry, I didn't got misplaced.
Yeah, I wish this came through a
You know
little
what it
bit
is?
better.
Let's get you another one. Here we go. So if you think of these as different phases of the party. So like, or maybe you can even think of it as different hours of the party. What time does the party start? 8?
Hell no.
No.
What type of party you going to?
9 to 1.
What type of party you going
So
to?
this is 9
And so
p.m.,
on. What are you
10
talking
p.m.
about? 9 to 1.
Lame
11.
as fuck.
What the
Y'all
hell?
don't
Oh,
go
wait,
to
when you say
parties.
9 to 1, you mean 9 in the
Oh,
morning, like a
God.
Man,
kid's
we leave
birthday
at 6
party?
in the morning. What are you talking about?
6 in the morning.
It's no.
It's not.
9
It's
p.m.,
no
10
day.
p.m., 11 p.m., 12
I know, it's
a.m.
all-
because it's at night, right?
No,
What
it
time
probably
party
was
was
like,
it?
no, it was 10:30 to
Late
late.
at night.
Never mind.
Last
Like,
time I
Yeah,
was
what
at a party, I
I
was. I
my
came
little
home
circle.
at
When the invite goes out.
And then I got a trouble. My mom was like, where the fuck you was at?
Hey,
Girl,
hey, hey,
I
with the
had a party.
language.
Oh, my language is good.
So if this is a visual representation of the party,
Yes.
if you can imagine that this is the party, and if you imagine that the chromosomes are the people at the party. At the beginning of the party, everybody's bunched up together. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Everybody's here. We're all together. We're all in one room. We're all hanging out. Get some music going. Enjoy some Doritos and some punch. Something that's fine to have. And then people start to group up together, right? You find your bestie and you have to talk about what's been going on, or maybe you find your bae, or your fine shy, or whoever, and like start hanging out with your people. And then people might do a line dance.
The shine right on that one.
Do you ever do a line dance at your party?
Like the
a
conga?
A little, what's the name of a little Hollywood shuffle, a little Cupid shuffle, a little,
Yes.
a little something, some
Face
line
back.
dance, right?
Always. And I always be right in the front.
And then after the line dance, generally, like, you find somebody to hang out with after the line dance, right? Like maybe it's your special friend.
No bad.
Maybe it's your crush. Maybe you met somebody new at the party and you gotta go over and talk to her and
Met
find out what her
someone
name
new.
is and everything about her. And then you decide who you're gonna be going home with. Are you going home with your besties to her house and spend the night there? Or did she tell her mom that she's going to your house and so now you have to go to your house?
What'd you say?
Or maybe you're going home to your friend's house with a bunch of other friends.
My ass is going home in bed.
There's definitely. So things could go wrong during this party, right?
That's not what I said.
Real quick after a party.
I said judgment.
I'll get that fast food drive-thru real quick after a party.
So I've been talking this whole time.
We're listening.
Good job on that, thank you. Okay, can you guys hear me? So I've been talking in terms of analogy about this whole thing all along. But this is an actual cell cycle, right? These are actual chromosomes going through the different stages of mitosis in order to replicate themselves and divide so that you have more cells. And
Are we gonna be looking at blood under a microscope?
no, we're not looking at blood under a microscope.
I
Root
just wonder
tips.
because the
That
question
would've
said
been
something
nice.
about under a microscope.
Yep, we're gonna look at some onion root tips.
Oh, let's do that then.
We will, yep. We gotta get ready for it so you know what you're looking at.
We have to cut you. You just like
Oh, we ain't gonna do it.
Not today, we'll do it Wednesday.
Why someone gets that?
She needs some clothes.
Get your student. You all, I'm trying to get, can I?
Please get her. Please.
me? What I do?
She's gonna take a green fart.
I don't know.
Okay.
So you all understand the analogy, right? We had fun
Yeah.
thinking about that and talking about it, but let's talk about the actual cell cycle. So here we've got this stage, then this stage, then this stage, then this stage, then this stage. Each stage has its own name. We'll talk about those in a second. If something goes wrong at one of these stages, what will happen?
The next
The
stage.
cell will just die.
Okay, you say yours first and then you say yours.
The next stage is gonna be messed up.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, the next stage would be messed up. And then what might happen, Rodrigo?
The cell will die.
Could die. Or, what's another thing that might happen?
The cell will change. It'll turn cancerous. Or it'll turn into a dead cell.
Tell me what you know about cancer, everybody.
All I know is
I know. Cancer is a
So your granddad died from lung cancer.
Don't just
Um,
take all the bad
cancer.
and put it in.
It's
trying to fight it, but
no,
it can't.
that's
Or I don't know.
It's
It's
not
like
even
trying to kill it.
Mm,
It's
same
like
shit.
cancer is like a thing that spreads throughout your
That's where the
body.
money used to be too.
It's like
You start from
Dogs off.
basically death in a little
little tiny mess.
tiny whatever form it is, and it spreads throughout your body, and it basically kills the cell.
Okay. So it does some things that normal cells don't do, is what I hear you saying.
Yeah.
And I heard a few different ideas that normal cells don't do that cancer does. I heard Madison say something interesting. Can you repeat what you said? You said something about growing big. All right, maybe it'll come back to you. Tumors. That's what I thought you were talking about. So cancer can cause tumors. What is a tumor?
Cancer.
Okay, so what, isn't it like, tell me more. Do you know more?
Well, there's different kinds of tumors,
Okay,
benign and,
Cancer.
cancers.
okay,
Even one you just had to cut out,
okay. And how did they get there?
you're born with it.
You're born with it?
Yeah.
So you mentioned, Jasmine, that your granddad died of lung cancer. Do you suppose he was born with lung cancer?
I don't know, like when I was growing up, I didn't even know he had cancer. And they were like, oh yeah, your granddad had cancer all the time. I was like,
There we go, say that
but my
louder,
granddad
Jason.
don't smoke.
Okay, lung cancer generally comes from exposure to carcinogens like that are in tobacco smoke or other things, right? What were you saying, Brendan?
There's different types of cancer.
Yeah.
You can get it and you can just have it.
You can just have it, right, especially those childhood cancers, right? That's not from any little kids that we
There are a
smoke.
lot of females that might have cancer.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry. What kind? Like breast cancer? Yeah, that's pretty common in my family too. So in my own family,
I
My-
don't know.
my grandma had it, and in my husband's family, his sister and their mother both had it, and stepmom had it
My
too.
grandma had it, my mom had it.
Yeah. My best friend Josie's mom had ovarian cancer, and her grandma had ovarian cancer, and their great grandma had ovarian cancer.
Yeah, that's what my mom.
Like, I don't know.
So, does she?
I don't know how
Oh,
that
good.
failed.
Good for her.
The baby would die.
She's gotta be taking real good care of herself.
Can I use the bathroom real quick?
All right.
Just take out the ovaries.
Yep, they can take it out and the tumor, they can do that, and then they can treat with some other things. There are a lot of, we have like various levels of knowledge about cancer, right? Like everybody knows a little something,
Yeah.
or have
All I
heard of
know
a
is-
story or something.
I don't want to know nothing.
I don't know if anybody in my family had breast cancer, but eye
Eye cancer?
cancer is. I think I have cancer on this.
I don't know about that. So cancer is, we often think of tumors when we think of cancer. And we think of, like you said, spreading.
Yeah, it does spread throughout.
So some things that normal cells do that cancer cells don't do is they stop reproducing at a point. Like they reproduce and then they're done.
Yeah,
A cancer cell might reproduce and reproduce,
it spreads.
and have this sort of uncontrolled growth that could then form a tumor. Right. And the cancer cells then don't die the way a normal cell, like one of the first things you said was like, it ends, it's not alive anymore. And that's true, like a normal cell does end,
It
it dies.
keeps growing though because however it got there, the system that made it, it was something wrong with it.
Right, so it is something that happens with the reproduction of the
Yeah.
cell. And as we see here, there are so many places where something could go wrong.
It is.
So let's do a little exercise so that we can make sure we hit our target here, that you can use a model to demonstrate the way cells are supposed to reproduce in a complex organism, okay? So if you turn your little packet to the next page, can you do this? Can you just flip it over? Just bloop, flip it over, and then you'll have these pictures of hands.
You got 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Okay. So you can see the pictures of hands here on your paper.
Oh, they.
All right. Interface, everybody do this with your hands. Just kind of like this.
Oh, Buck.
Hold up.
So we're not doing a delta and we're not doing a heart. We're making just kind of, make your fingertips kind of like this.
I'm not doing this.
You just did it.
I'm doing it right
You
here.
just did it.
Don't play with me like that.
Don't play with me. I'm not
I
playing with
did.
you.
Anyways, up here, Jasmine. I gotta get through this before the end of the hour.
Wait, what'd you say?
I gotta get through this before the end of the hour, so can you please let me know? All right, so interface, this is the party planning section, where you're calling up your friends, and you're saying, hey, are you guys free? You're gonna wanna get together? Do we have a place where we can hang out? Does somebody have some money so we can get some pizza? Like, you're making your plans here. Interface is when you're planning. You're interested, think interface interested in the party, right? Okay, and then next, we've got our 9 p.m. Everybody's together at the party. So make your hands like this. We're not punching, no, we're just holding on. Everybody's all together at the party. You're in the basement of somebody's mother's house, and you're starting to hook up this speaker, and you're starting to open up the bags of chips, and starting to call more friends and get more people over. And so your hands are together like a ball. This is prophase, that's our first image. Next is metaphase. So make the palms of your hands just touch in the middle and make your fingers go kind of apart like that. See that? So this is where the chromosomes are lined up in the middle. And that would be, then that just one there. Metaphase, and then anaphase, and then, yep. So metaphase is our second, it's our 10 p.m. one. People are starting to bunch up in the middle, okay? So, thank you, I'm gonna go fast.
Oh no, 2 minutes now.
Okay, then after that is anaphase. So this is our line dance. Okay, we've got people together in the middle. See my fingernails? Can you believe these nails are still on me? People are lined up in the middle, doing their little dancey dance in the middle of the basement, and everybody's doing their little electric shuffle down there in the basement. All right, and then next, and that's anaphase. And so the anaphase think away. They're starting to move away from each other. And then telophase. Okay, the line dance is over. And people are back with their friend groups now. I'm hurrying so much, right? And then they finally come away from each other, right? And then the party's over, people go home. And now we've got this group and this group. We've got this cell and this cell. So this is...
Girl, no.
And then it's back to interface again, because then they're gonna want a party, right?
Okay.
After you go to a really good party, then you can't wait for the next party, right? Like, ooh, let's have another one next weekend. And then you have that one and it wasn't as good as the first one.
I forgot my lunch at home. Now I'm eating school food.
All right, so let me wrap it up, because we're gonna talk more about this in coming days. I'm really glad that Mrs. Elliott told me that we needed to hit this and make sure that we understand it better. We've got this little model that we can do with our hands very easily. Do interface, then prophase, then metaphase, then anaphase, then telophase, then cytokinesis where it comes away. Good job following me, thank you. So we've got this little model, thank you. And we're gonna be talking about cancer and using our model. When something goes wrong at one of these places, it could be because of cancer. And it could be that that cell is not gonna reproduce normally. And if it doesn't reproduce normally and replace itself normally, then we could have problems. We could have lung cancer or breast cancer or ovarian cancer or skin cancer or eye cancer. More tomorrow. Can I have these back from you? We'll talk more tomorrow. You guys are rock stars. Thank you. Jason, thank you for being open and having an open heart. My suggestions about how to respond to things.
You didn't even She gets one more time.
If you don't want to cuss her out, you can just say no thank you.
How dare I?
She don't listen to me.
My paper's over there.
Thank you, thank you. Thanks, Amir, I'll grab it. Good job, guys. Have a good lunch. Go get your Bosco sticks. I don't know if it is Bosco sticks today, actually.
Next hour. Okay, does that sound good? Okay. So you talked about
Hey,
me?
yeah.
Yeah.
You're the jackass, Steve. I'm so sorry.
Like I said, I'm not fighting with anymore.
I'm Well, I called him out and I told him just to say, you know, thank you instead of getting all.
He does, but then, you know, I'm supposed to persist. And so then
I
he
told him
says
that.
no, thank you, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm not fighting with him anymore.
Right.
Like I started, but I'm, like I told you, I'm struggling with the transactional nature of some of